Welcome to the Lifting Lounge podcast. Join your hosts, Josh Parkin and Jack Buffery, as they give you the knowledge and the tools to take your physical and mental performance to the next level.
Hey. What were you laughing like before I even clicked record that? I just looked down at the screen and I saw you smiling to yourself already.
I knew you were going to do
it. So this is episode...
Maybe.
Maybe.
It is... No, you're right. I thought you were going to say this is our first video episode.
Yeah, so it's that. Yeah, so it's episode 50 and the first time we are videoing an episode. So yeah, you might be able to see it. I'm not going to lie, the lighting in my place is shit because there's no natural light. This is just something we want to do to see how it fares, to see if we can whack something up on YouTube and, see if we can grow organically.
Who knows? It's exciting.
Yes, it is very exciting. But episode 50, man, that means I reckon on average, I'm not sure, I wish there was a way to see how many hours we've done, but I reckon it's probably getting on for about 60 hours of content then.
It's got to be. That's a lot, isn't it?
That is a lot.
That's a lot.
And I did want to give a shout out because we have one regular listener in Arkansas, or Arkansas as it's spelled. We have
not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, we have a regular listener in Arkansas. So I just wanted to give a massive shout out. And you also prompted me, whoever our lone Arkansas listener is. I'd love you to drop us a message, by the way, on one of our social medias.
Yes.
But you made me have a look on Google Images about the kind of stuff that is in Arkansas, and fuck me, do I want to go. Like, it looks so cool. Yeah. It's just what I imagine would be great fun. So yeah, if in the future, if you're like rich and have a massive house, then me and Josh could definitely come and stay. That's fine. Have you got a private jet as well?
Yeah. Fuck's sake. Okay, and even if you're not rich, still keep listening. Okay,
I'll definitely still keep listening, but. We won't come and stay with you.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you all the way from England, Mr. Arkansas or Mrs. Arkansas. I keep listening and send us a message, please. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, really, definitely. It'd be amazing to be able to connect with someone on the opposite side of the world. So that'd be really cool. Cool. Josh, why don't you have in fact, I think it'd be a good idea to speak about what has happened with the social medias and not just the Facebook group over the last few days and what's going to be happening over the next few days.
Yep. So it's kind of good. It's episode 50. We're progressing. We've had a bit of a change. We have changed the names of all our social medias, basically, apart from our personal ones. And the group at the moment, but the group's going to change as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've changed them all to the RDA system or RDA strength system or something along those lines. I need to get them up now because I've already forgot. But yes, we are now on Facebook. We are now the RDA strength system. On Instagram, we are now something different again. We are... As you can tell, I'm getting it up as we speak. We are RDA Strength System on Instagram, and we're the same on TikTok. So we've changed, and we're the same on Twitter. Twitter is just the RDA system because we couldn't fit in Strength System. So all our names have changed, and the reason for that is because this is our principle, this is our core, and this is what we're all about. The Lifting Lounge is still going to be called the Lifting Lounge Podcast, but it's RDA Strength System presents the Lifting Lounge Podcast.
Yeah, so we want to tie everything together underneath the same umbrella because basically everything we do moving forward now is under the company name RDA Systems, or the RDA system, I should say. And everything we're going to do is going to be an offshoot of that. So that's kind of like the business front of what the Lifting Lounge is. but we don't want to lose what the lifting lounge is, because we still love all the geeky shit, and that's where we get to like be ourselves in terms of the stuff that we would talk about outside of training. So other podcasts might come, they might not. We're not sure exactly where the podcast front is going yet, but one thing is for certain: the lifting lounge is going to be staying, and the RDA system is the business side of things. So you'll get value from both, and you'll see crossover of content from both as well. It's just, if you are confused as to why things were changing up, then there is your answer.
Mm-hmm. And on that as well, our website is now live.
Whoop whoop. What's on the website,
So
Josh?
So on the website, you can now look at what our system is about. You can sign up to our system if that's something you want to do. You can join in and get involved. We also have a blog on there. So there is a blog on there that's live now. There is currently 3 blogs on there. Oh, no, 4. I was right. 4
Nice.
blogs on there. And that's going to be going out weekly, maybe even bi-weekly, depending on how creative I'm feeling. But there is a blog on there. So get on the website. And website comes under 2 names, either theliftinglounge.com or RDA system.
Yeah, so you can either go to the liftinglounge.com or the rdasystem.com. Either of those will take you to the main page. And also, you can find all the podcast episodes listed there as well if you want to listen on a desktop, if you're like sitting at work and want to listen to something better than the person next to you, basically.
So, exactly. So everything is just everything's moving on up. We're going forward. Yeah. So get involved, guys. Join the movement. It's going to be good.
It is going to be good. And like you mentioned earlier on, Josh, the Facebook group name will be changing as well. We haven't nailed that one in yet, so expect that to be changing. But largely the same content. But as always, we're just looking to be adding more value to it and more content over time as well. At the moment, we're kind of finding our feet with all of this stuff, just being completely honest with you. We just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing by you guys as well as us. So that's what we're going for on that. But we also have something else that we've spoken about before, but we're going to remind you again because we have the RDA system one-to-one coaching. This is something we are literally refining week by week. And I said this on the last episode, but I'm going to say it again because I liked it so much, is that we want this to be the point in your life that you can turn around and say that is the moment everything changed, because that's what we're aiming to do. We're aiming to give you something real, something tangible, something useful that you can put into your life. And although it will change your life for the better, it won't change your life so much that you're stressed out about what the fuck you have to do next, because we're there to help guide you through that process, whether that is nutrition, training, or lifestyle. We're going to cover all that shit with you and just get you locked in to make sure you're heading towards the kind of future you want to build for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. We're already onboarding clients. We're moving forward. I'm really looking forward to getting out to people and changing some lives. It's just taking what we do in person with people and then being able to spread it worldwide, which is wicked.
It is mad. Yeah, so Mr. or Mrs. Listener in Arkansas, like, why don't you become our first American RDA system person? That would be pretty damn awesome, wouldn't it? I'd love to have an American client.
100%. Americans all the way.
Yeah, you're just so you're excited about everything, and more generally, it's just good to see. But moving on, Josh, I wonder whether it would hurt to come up with to give a tip 100 days in a row. Is it something you're capable of? Do you reckon you could do that, or have you got the persistence? Have you got the persistence to commit to 100 days worth of tipping? Sometimes I wonder, where do the analogies get lost? But it's okay. It's all right.
Oh man. I was trying to explain this to the guy at the cafe today. I was telling him that this is what we did, and he was like, "You guys are disgusting."
Why? It's just all. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just asking about your tips. What's your
So
tip?
my tip for today is along the lines of this episode, and also along the lines of what we've agreed to with this podcast initially. And my tip for today is to persist, and it's to commit to 100 days. If you have something that you are wanting to do, a habit which you are trying to form, then commit to 100 days of that. We have committed to 100 episodes of this podcast. However, we will most likely do more, but persist and commit to at least 100 days or 100 of whatever it is you're doing. And most likely by the end of that, your mindset will have changed and it will become habit.
So we're on day 172 at the moment, and I think what day did we start? I think it was like 2 weeks in. So we're like, I would say we're about 100. We're around about 150 days into doing this podcast. That's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, I agree completely. Like, commit to 100 days. And do you know what's really funny? So I've got memories going on my Facebook at the moment from exactly 10 years ago. 10 years ago today, I was on day 6 of my 100-day challenge, in which it was all about lifestyle, commitment, fitness, nutrition, and stuff like that. And yeah, literally 10 years ago. So I would have been 28 years old. And it would have been just literally tracking stuff for 100 days, posting that shit up on Instagram and stuff like that, and just showing what I was doing. So yeah, it's crazy. 100 days is a really good thing to do.
This is so ridiculous. We keep talking about this, about how we're so similar, but how it's so crazy that you did that 10 years ago. You're almost 10 years older than me, and I am currently doing a 90-day challenge. I swear this is like some weird time travel shit.
This is all by chance, by the way, guys. Like, Kimberly was laughing about it the other day. She was like, for God's sake, when your period's going to start syncing up? But yeah, it is quite funny to see how, like, the similarities are. And yeah, like, I think, like you say, I'm like nearly 10 years older than you, and this is literally 10 years ago. I was doing this, but it was 100 days and nearly to the day. What are you on, like day 10 or something like that? So
yeah, I'm on day 10, I think. Yeah,
day 10, yeah. So it's literally just a few days apart, which is quite funny. But yeah, it's a really good thing to do, that 100 days, just seeing if you can do it. And you've heard us say 3 months sometimes is a perfect way to do it, perfect time period to do it. 3 months usually works out at about 100 days, because it's a little over, it usually works out a bit more than 12 weeks. So definitely give it a shot, see if you can do it, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by what you can achieve.
Definitely. So let's move on to Geek Corner. And for Geek Corner, you dropped me this trailer the other day, and I was not expecting this trailer.
Oh yeah.
And people may or may not know, but the Kraven trailer has dropped. And if people who don't know who Kraven is actually a villain from Spider-Man. And the trailer for that's dropped with Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Yeah, that's it. So for those who don't know who he is, if you've ever seen Kick-Ass, he was the guy who played Kick-Ass, and he was also the guy who played Quicksilver in the Age of Ultron. Yeah, he's jacked in this. I watched a film called Bullet Train that came out last year, and he was jacked in that. But he's a big boy in this, and he's also being touted to play the next Bond because he's British as well, and I can see that happening. So yeah, it'd be quite cool. What do you think of the trailer?
Yeah, it looks good. I'm very interested. I'm not sure about the whole lion blood thing about how he got his powers. I'm not sure if that's actually the origin of Kraven's powers in the comics.
No idea. I have zero idea on that.
Yeah, I don't even know if he has powers in the comics.
He's just like
it's a witch doctor's. So he has a witch doctor's herbal potion that enhances physical prowess. So that is essentially what gave him powers in the comics. So it's a bit of an adjustment to his powers because it seemed a little bit weird, like a lion just bled on him, unless it's going to be some like mystical lion. But it looks pretty good. Russell Crowe's in it, which is surprising.
Russell Crowe's, yeah. Because that's like he played Thor, obviously in the MCU as well. So like this is his second Marvel
Zeus.
outing. Zeus, sorry, yeah, yeah. So it's interesting to see him back in it. All I'm gonna say is, I fucking hope it's better than Morbius, because that film sucked ass so bad. I really, really wanted to like it, and I just didn't. I thought it sucked. So if they can pull this off, I would say it does look better, but I do remember thinking that the trailer for Morbius looked quite good as well initially, and it had no substance to it, that film. It just sucks ass. So I'm hoping that Kraven gets it right. I'm reckoning there is going to be a crossover. It would surprise me if Jared Leto doesn't turn up in the post-credits scene in this film, because why wouldn't he? Kraven the Hunter, he's probably going to want to hunt a vampire. If they do another crossover with Blade, I expect Blade will pop up there somewhere as well. But who knows how it's all going to play out. They're basically trying to get all the villains from Spider-Man into their own kind of universe now that Spider-Man is a bit more of the MCU kind of thing. It's all a big weird deal that's gone on, but who knows how it'll play out.
Yeah, unless they're trying to set up the Sinister Six and they're just bringing all the villains in different movies, because I think Vulture popped up in Morbius. So unless they're trying to do that,
and that was some weird, that was a weird portal jump as well that happened there. And at the end of, I don't know if you remember, but at the end of the first Spider-Man film, what's it called? Is it Homecoming?
Homecoming, yeah.
Scorpion piped up at the post-credit scene on that as well. So yeah, there's a lot of things they could be setting up, and obviously they're the ones who are doing the Venom films as well. So there's all this shit that could potentially tie together. It's just a case of whether it does actually tie together or not. But yeah, Kraven looks better than what I was expecting. And yeah, like I say, I just hope it's better than the Morbius. Did you notice the Rhino little thing at the end?
Yeah.
So
so that's where my next question has come in.
Go on.
Yeah, but I mean, as you said, I think you were about to say, what do you think about it? Because I think that looks better than what they've tried to do with Rhino before. They tried to do the whole robot thing with Rhino before, and I think he's going to actually look like proper Rhino this time.
Well, so I don't actually know what Rhino was. I thought he was a guy in a suit. I didn't realize he was. What is he in comic book lore? I haven't got a clue.
Mate,
I actually don't know.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I thought he was a bit more of a guy in a suit who just like was immensely strong, kind of like a Juggernaut type guy, but I could be completely wrong.
No, I think he has got like a thick rhino hide.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking up now. Yeah, he basically just a big old rhino guy.
Just a standard big old rhino guy. Okay, cool. So so you said, like, what animal would you love to see as a hero or villain that hasn't been done on screen yet? On screen, I guess. So I think there is one, but it's actually really shit, but it would be so cool at the same time. Would be a squirrel, a flying squirrel at that, because they can climb pretty much any surface and then they can fly. It's pretty much like Spider-Man when he's got his wingsuit, though, to be fair. That would be a cool animal to have the skills of. Other than that, go on.
Yeah, so there is a hero called Squirrel Girl.
I thought that was. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a joke or not.
No, well, it's kind of one of those jokey ones. But she, in one of the comics, she defeats Thanos. So she's like mega powerful.
That's what I'm saying. Flying squirrel. The other one I would like to see would be some sort of ape. Probably a gorilla, to be honest. That'd be quite cool, because that'd be powerful. That'd be beastie. That'd be some epic, spine-tingling, like beating of the chest moments and stuff like that. I think it'd be quite cool. But yeah, what about yourself? You got any specific ideas?
I guess I'm not sure, really. I guess you could be a platypus.
I mean, you could.
They've got Venom. They got venomous barbs and they're super slippery.
I mean, yeah. Why not be a beaver while you're at it as well? Like,
Yeah, you'd love to see that on screen, wouldn't you, you dirty bastard?
Depends how hairy they are.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's.
I don't know.
Do you know who comes to mind who hasn't been done on the big screen yet? At least not that I can remember. A cheetah. So my mind instantly goes to Chitara from Thundercats. Do you remember her? But yeah, that was like.
It has been done on the big screen. Actually, it has been done on the big screen.
What was that?
Mm-hmm. You might not have watched it because it was so fucking terrible. Was Wonder Woman 2?
Oh god,
Wonder Woman
that was
1980,
really bad, wasn't it? Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh god, yeah, I forgot about that for a reason. I think. Why do people?
Yep.
Oh, by the way, quick aside. Speaking of superheroes and stuff like that, have you heard that the Flash is bombing at the moment, big time?
No, really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of people who are a little bit worried about it because it seems to be bombing everywhere. So yeah,
I've heard all the Easter eggs.
Oh, have you? I haven't. I've seen the cameos that are in it, but I don't know. I haven't seen like all the Easter eggs and stuff like that. I know there's a very surprised Batman that comes into it that I was not expecting to show up in it, as well as the Michael Keaton one and the Ben Affleck one.
And there's a very surprising Superman that shows up in it.
Yeah, I want to know how they've done that. Actually, I've heard he shows up. I don't know how, but. And there's loads of, I think there's a load of Supermen that show up, like even from the black and white days, which is interesting. But yeah, apparently, and this could just be headlines, but apparently it's not doing too well, and it's scaring Warner Brothers a bit. So I have to wait and see.
Is that surprising though? Like they kept an actor on who has been abusive and just kept it going and tried to like put it under the carpet, and that DC universe has been pretty shocking. So I mean, are we surprised?
I mean, I don't know. Like I said to you a couple of episodes back, and I need to go listen. We've done an episode ages ago, and I think it was one of your questions, and you said, "Is superhero film movie fatigue a real thing?" Blah blah blah. Is that happening? I can't remember what my answer was. I think I said I'll probably carry on watching them anyway, but I'm not going to lie. I haven't been interested in going to the cinema for them. I mean, even Guardians of the Galaxy, I really want to see it. I know it's supposed to be really good, but I haven't been overly excited about getting to the cinema to watch it. Flash hasn't even like I'd be like, nah. If someone says, "Oh, do you want to go watch the Flash?" I'll be like, "Yeah, why not?" But I'm not overly fussed. So, yeah, maybe that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too fussed.
I wonder if people are just getting bored of the whole superhero shtick now, unless it's something different. Like that's why I like the last Batman film because it was different.
Yeah. I mean, it was completely different, and that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's move on to some fit talk.
Okay.
Go on.
Well, no, I'm just seeing what you've written at the end of this fit talk, and like this is the second week in a row that there's been a statement like this. So I just want to see where this goes. But come on, Josh, lead us into fit talk.
Well, it's episode 50. You got to do something.
For fuck's sake. We have got a lot to fucking do in the meantime anyway, so let's have it. Come on, let's go to the fit talk and let's have a chat about this, shall we?
Okay, so first of all, I started rucking the other day. For those who don't know what rucking is, it's when you put a backpack on with some heavy weights and then go for a long hike, and like a meaningful hike as well. So not like just a dawdle. You're going for a nice trek for a long period of time with some weights on your back. And I tell you what, it's my new favorite cardio.
That's cool. And do you feel like it's making big improvements in your cardio in terms of pacing and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely helps a lot. And also just like strength in my upper back and abs and calves, stuff like that. I reckon rucking's probably going to be one of the best ways to get massive calves.
Yeah, that is good. Like postman calves.
Yeah.
Show me a postman with weak calves, man. You just don't see them because they're walking all the time with like bags on them. They've always got good calves. Okay, that's interesting. So why don't you talk us through how you're doing it, how you're setting up the backpack, what kind of weight you've got in it, etc., just so people know and understand how you're doing it.
So for me, I'm I haven't got all the gear yet, and I joined the Rucking group, and to find out like what good gear there is to get in terms of backpacks and stuff like that. And there is a company by the looks of it that looks really good called Go Ruck, where you can buy a backpack and it has like weight slots in there, which you can actually buy the weights to slot in. It's fairly pricey, but it looks really good. But I'm just got my standard rucksack. I've got two, so I've either got one I can strap around my hips and my chest, or one that I just strap around my chest. And I basically wrap up some plates, like weight plates, in a towel, so it's not too hard on my back, and just shove them in my backpack. And then see you later, I'm off for a nice hike. I would suggest, first off, not going too heavy. I would definitely say start lighter. I did 15 kilos, which I think is considered quite light in terms of rucking, but you might even want to go lighter than that. I did 15 kilos. I think for the SAS, or one of the SAS challenges, it's like 27, maybe 30 kilos you've got to do. So 15 kilos seems to be quite light, I think.
But it's still like a fair amount of weight, to be honest. Like an extra 15 kilos to your mass, especially when it's positioned like it is. And I think having good quality, like you say, you'll either want that strap around the hips and the chest, or at the very least around the chest, as well as the standard shoulder straps, to be able to do it and distribute the weight evenly. Otherwise you could end up like with some back problems or something if you're not distributing the weight right.
Yeah, definitely. If you get ones with hip straps, I would definitely recommend that over just the chest strap, because that's going to load up on your abs and hips more rather than pushing it all through your upper back. I did find it feels nice on my upper back in terms of it gives it a nice workout. But if you don't have the chest strap done up properly, it definitely puts loads of pressure in on your shoulders. And I found that it actually, at one point, if I didn't have the chest strap on, my hands would start to go dead. And I think it was just cutting off supply to my hands.
That makes sense.
So you've got to make sure you're strapped in properly.
Yeah, because if you look at like, I've got a traveling backpack, one of the massive, whatever they're called, one of those things, and that's got the one that goes across the hips, and that's designed to just relieve the weight off of the shoulders so much, and it's the shoulder straps almost there to keep it in place. It's the one around the strap, the hips and the chest that actually allow you to strap yourself into the weight a bit more. So I'm looking right now. Recruits march with a Bergen backpack weighing 25 kilos, but that's not including water, food, and a rifle. So so if you include the water as well, I expect they carry a good 5 liters. So you're looking at 30 kilos, and that's a fair amount of weight to be carrying around with you. Like that's a largish dog that you're basically carrying around. Quite a large dog, actually. Yeah. So. That's interesting, and I haven't tried it. I've never tried rucking, so I've walked around a lot with a massive backpack on, but never specifically to do something that is akin to rucking. So that's interesting. Shall we move on to study time, Josh, really quickly, or is there something?
So before we go on to study time, and in the name of rucking, we said in a podcast a couple of weeks back that we would do a challenge.
You said that.
Well, so yes, I did say, but you agreed on the podcast that we'd do the challenge, and you agreed that in a week's time we would have had the challenge decided. Since that podcast, we've not discussed it once.
I don't know how long ago was that. I forget about this stuff, to be honest. Okay.
It's ages ago. It was ages ago. So I'm issuing a challenge. I'm issuing a challenge. I'm coming for you, baby. I'm coming for you.
Right, okay.
So
let's go.
We've got two challenges. One's a lighter challenge, one's a heavier challenge. Okay? And we're going to have plenty of time to train for them, because I don't want to do them until next year now, because we've already missed the point where we need the light. Okay?
Okay. Oh, this is worrying.
So, and I put in rucking because it's similar. It's semi-rucking, okay? There's two challenges in Wales that you can do. The first one is the easier one, but it still nails. Is the penny fan or the fan dance. You may have heard of the fan dance before.
I have not.
An SAS. It's an SAS challenge or a Marines challenge. I can't remember which. Where there's a place in Wales called Penny Fan, and you climb up it, and then climb down the other side, and then you come back and come down again, and you have to do it, I think, in about 6 to 8 hours. It's not massively long, but it's hilly. That's the easier one. I say easy. It's gross. It's not easy, and it's with about 25 kilos on your back.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna. Yeah, it is SAS. So it's 24 kilometers. That's gross.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 24 kilometers over Penny Fan. So that's my first challenge for you. My second challenge.
Hold on, just so I know how long should that be completed in? The 24K.
Just I'm literally just looking up that now. As usual, I didn't get this written down. The fan dance. But I mean, it's brutal. Between 3 and 7 hours. Most challenges take between 3 and 7 hours to complete the fan dance.
Okay, so we obviously, if we're doing this as a proper
SAS
challenge, on SAS conditions. What?
Yeah. So the time limit is 4 hours and 10 minutes, regardless of weather.
Okay, so we want to be aiming for like the 4 hours and 10 minutes mark, don't we? That's what we want to be aiming for. To see if we can match the SAS one. And yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The next challenge is slightly worse. And the next one is called the Welsh 3000s.
Well, that sounds.
Have you heard of this one before?
Gross. No, I don't think I want to hear of this one.
So the Welsh 3000s obviously takes in Wales. So it's 24 miles roughly.
Okay, so a marathon, pretty much.
Yeah, a marathon, pretty much. And the walk is also known as the 14 Peaks, although there are officially 15 peaks or possibly 16. You have to climb all 15 peaks mountains over 3,000 feet in Wales within the space of 24 hours without using any form of transport.
Oh, how close are they together?
So it's a big ridge. So basically, what you do is I'm pretty sure you climb Snowdon the night before. You stay at the top of Snowdon and you start from there and then do the mountain
up
range,
and down. Okay.
Essentially. Yeah.
I mean, that I can get on board with. That sounds like great fun. But I'm guessing you want to do this with a great big kit on the back as well, right? Is that the case?
I mean, man, it looks like it's going to be fucking horrible either way. So,
and how long have you got to do it in?
24 hours.
Okay, all right. And how far again?
24 miles.
24 miles. Okay. Gross. Okay, that sounds fun because I love mountains. So I'm up for that. 24 miles. I don't even.
It says the best time to do it. Sorry, the best time to do it is around solstice, so around the 22nd of June, because you want the most light possible. So we've got a long time.
We've got a year. Well, literally a year today. So we're recording this on the 21st of June. So okay, that's fine. Well, let's do it. Yeah, that is definitely a thing. So if anyone wants to join us on this, let's make it our first RDA/lifting lounge meet and do a 16 peak challenge, or we will do the 16 peaks if anyone wants to join us for any of those peaks and cheer us on, bring us some food, lots of food. Then please come along.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. Let's put that in the calendar. We will do 16 peaks next year. Or 15 peaks or 14 peaks.
Okay, cool.
Worryingly, that people don't know if it's 14, 15 or 16. Is that because no one's ever finished it? And they're like, well...
Mate,
Okay.
I don't know. I think the record is something stupid.
Like
I'll just
7
get it
hours or
up.
something
World
like that. It
3000.
wasn't that guy who done the other
Yeah.
mountains, was it?
Oh my god. The record for running them belongs to Finley Wild, who managed it in a staggering 4 hours and 10 minutes.
That's a good marathon time, let alone running like Jesus Christ.
What the fuck?
I will be happy. Right, okay, so I'll be happy. I'm setting myself a goal now of doing it in daylight hours. So if I would like to start at that time of year, start about 4:30 in the morning and finish at like before 10 at night. And so that'll be like, what, 16 hours? Something like that. Yeah.
That's a fast pace.
Yeah. And that would be good to do that. And so yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to take kit with us to some degree, I guess, because we're gonna need food, snacks, etc.
Mhm.
So yeah, decent pair of hiking gear, plasters. Oh my god. I mean, I'm pretty sure that just the tenacity that I have will see me through the 24 hours regardless, even though I know it'll be grim. So yeah, let's do that. I'm up for penciling that one in. That sounds like fun.
Okay, cool. Well, we've said it now. So
Luckily we haven't got many listeners because we can just like back out of this at any time.
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, does it?
Okay, right. Now you've gone on to that. Do you know what I'm going to need to do after that?
What?
Take a nap.
Hey,
there we go.
Nice. So, for our study time today, guys, I pulled up a study that's come out of UCL and the University of the Republic in Uruguay, which is cool. And the title here is one that I quite like, and it says regular napping is linked to larger brain volume. And I'm just going to read through just a bit of this article here so you guys can have some kind of understanding. Daytime napping may help to preserve brain health by slowing the rate at which our brain shrinks as we age. Daytime napping may help. Reading the same one again. The study, published in the journal Sleep Health, analyzed data from people aged 40 to 69 and found a causal link between habitual napping and larger total brain volume, a marker of good brain health linked to lower risk of dementia and other diseases. Senior author Dr. Victoria Garfield, MRC Unit for Lifelong Health and Aging at UCL, said, "Our findings suggest that for some people, short daytime naps may be a part of the puzzle that could help preserve the health of the brain as we get older. Previous research has shown that napping has cognitive benefits, with people who have had short nap performing better in cognitive tests in the hours afterwards than counterparts who did not nap. The new study aimed to establish if there was a causal relationship between daytime napping and brain health using a technique called Mendelian randomization. They looked at 97 snippets of DNA thought to determine people's likelihood of habitual napping. They compared measures of brain health and cognition of people who are more genetically programmed to nap with counterparts who did not have these genetic variants, using data from 378,932 people from the UK Biobank study, and found that overall, people predetermined to nap had larger total brain volume. So, with this, the study, I'm not too familiar with this kind of style of study. It doesn't look like they've actually got people to do naps. What they've done is taken snippets of DNA of people that may nap, but it may be a good thing. If you want to take a nap in the middle of the day, it might be healthy for your brain.
My problem is I always want to take a nap in the middle of the day. I just can never do it. It takes me too long to fall asleep in the first place. Really interesting though, like the fact that you can be genetically predisposed to want to nap. Like that is like part sloth kind of thing. Yeah, that is interesting. It would be really interesting again just to dig a bit deeper to see if the people who are predisposed actually do nap more and what happens when they don't. because that is quite interesting as well.
Mm.
They agree. So how did they? I can't work out how they cross-referenced it, like with the people programmed to nap versus the people who weren't, who did not have these really. People predetermined to nap. They must have cross-referenced. They must have knew who the DNA was, and then asked these people still somehow, because or at least had
it's a very interesting study.
Yeah, it really is. I'd like to know how it's done, because that is really, really cool. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at some other bits in this. So yeah, I mean, I would love to be able to nap. I really struggle, so I've had to start doing stuff more likened to meditation as opposed to napping, because I can't nap. I try, it just takes me too long, and then I wake up feeling groggy, so it doesn't work for me. But that is really interesting.
It does say at the end here that in terms of nap duration, earlier studies suggest that naps of 30 minutes or less provide the best short-term cognitive benefits.
Wow.
And napping earlier in the day is less likely to disrupt nighttime sleep. So not napping too long, just like a half hour. Jocko Willink says, I've heard this from him before, is Jocko Willink doesn't nap. He has like 10 minutes of just doing nothing. And I think he says he has a 10-minute nap, but he's basically just closing his eyes for 10 minutes and then he gets going again.
That's good. And, people have said about power naps for decades now. So that's probably where that comes from. My biggest problem with this is I struggle to wind down quick enough to do it. So that's why, I like the idea of it. And I'm trying to come to terms with the fact now that I'm not going to nap, I won't sleep. And that's where maybe what Jocko does is maybe just shutting the eyes. However, one of the things the military in particular are taught how to do is to fall asleep at the drop of a pin at the soonest given opportunity, so they can feel refreshed. That's why you'd always see special ops guys could fall asleep on a real noisy flight on a plane, because then they need to recuperate. So they're literally taught how to do that. That's something I've actually been tempted to look at, but I haven't ever done it. There's a guy who we used to train who who's told me about that before, and he said, yeah, it's a genuine technique that they use. So I might have to look into the military way of getting myself a couple of power naps.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a fan of power naps. I'm good at power napping. It doesn't take long for me to just pop away for 20 minutes.
And how do you feel when you wake up after 20 minutes?
It varies for me. So sometimes I feel great. Sometimes I think it's the next day. Sometimes I just don't know where I am when I wake up.
Yeah, that's interesting. I really like that, and I'm gonna. I do want to. Napping has been actually a big thing that's been in my head for the last few months now, because it frustrates me when I can't and when I've tried, but haven't been able to. So I'm gonna look into this a little bit more, because that is really, really cool.
Happy days. So let's move on to our hot topic, and my hot topic for today is. There's kind of a theme today, and it's going along the lines of it being episode 50. We're pushing on and about trying to persist and reach the goals that it is you want to reach. And so the hot topic today is about how to overcome challenges and stay motivated, especially when you're doing something that takes consistency and perseverance. Yeah, there's some of the things you want to do if you're wanting to be super strong, super fit, or just stay healthy for life, then these things take consistency and perseverance. So the result I kind of wanted out of today was to go through a bunch of ways to overcome these challenges and stay motivated. And so then you feel like you can plow on and you can get on with things. The reason is because it is very easy, or the driver, shall I say, is it's very easy to, when you're 50 episodes in, for us to go, do you know what, I'm getting a bit fed up of this, I don't want to do it, or if you're a month and a half into a challenge and you go, I really want that cake. It's very easy to do that because you think that you've done a lot when actually there's still much further to go. So the actions are, we're going to go through a bunch of stuff here that is going to help identify some of these challenges and give you ways to stay motivated or stay disciplined and overcome anything that's going on. So, it's episode 50. We're wanting to stay motivated. We've overcome challenges just doing this. We nearly didn't even get started on this podcast. So that's and we've managed to overcome quite a lot of challenges with this, and we still do on a daily. So I thought we'd share some of that wisdom.
Yep. Yeah, it's really cool.
Perfect. So number one is I want us to just go over some of the common, and this is mainly to do with fitness, yeah? So some of the common challenges that people find and then how we can address them. So, I mean, standard challenges for most people when they're trying to stick to this thing is usually time, money, and we've been through this in a bigger podcast before, but what would you say some of the common challenges are, Jack?
Yeah, well, like you say, one of the ones that comes up all the time is I haven't got time. And this is a subject we've covered so many times before. How many times can I say time in a single sentence? But yeah, with time, it is always the case that once you manage your time properly and you insert healthy exercise into it, you find that you end up having more time because you actually have more energy and you think clearly, so you're more efficient with the time that you have. You get more shit done, basically. So that's one of the biggest challenges. Also, people around you can be sometimes a bit of an obstacle to overcome because you've always got people saying, "No, you don't need to do that. Come on, do this with me. Come eat this shit with me. Come eat some ice cream. You're already fit enough." The thing to understand about those people is that they're living to values that they haven't even taken the time to predetermine for themselves. They're just living for generic values. You're a person who has taken the time to understand your values. So don't play to someone else's values that they don't even know what they are. Play to your own values where you're going to feel like you're achieving shit.
Yeah, definitely. It's that common thing, isn't it? Of unless that person is supporting you and trying to help you through that process, then they're probably not worth listening to. If they're going, do you really need to do that? Oh, come on out. If you're saying to them, oh, I'm trying to be consistent with this, I'm trying to be healthier, and they're going, it's fine, have a beer, just have a pizza, you're doing really well, you've done it for a week. Maybe they're not worth listening to. You want those people around you to be supporting you. You want the right people in your support group to help you through it.
Yeah. The one thing I will say about understanding challenges as well is literally understanding them, understand what they are, because there will be some challenges that are insurmountable. For example, if you work an 80-hour week and you're telling yourself you're going to get 7 2-hour workouts in per week as well, that ain't a challenge you want to try and take on because that's going to fuck you up. So what I would say is understand the challenge for what it is, but understand how you can overcome it, not by trying to take on those 2-hour workouts, but by meeting somewhere in the middle. It's like, okay, what can I get done in the week that does it? So it's all very well and good trying to power through challenges, but sometimes it's like there has to be a bit of give and take there as well. You might just have to slightly adapt your approach as opposed to trying to shoehorn it into somewhere where it's not going to fit.
And that kind of moves on to our next point, yeah? And it's all about setting realistic goals. That's point number 2, set realistic goals. You need to make sure what it is you're wanting to do is something that you can actually reach. Yeah, and that's where stuff like, if you go back to our episode on the life audit, that's where stuff like that is super important, is knowing exactly what it is you want. We talk about this all the time. Know exactly what it is you want, and if that is achievable. Is that actually achievable? Like you said, if you're working 80-hour weeks, it's not really achievable to be training every day 2 hours a day. It doesn't work.
No.
So make sure it's a goal that you know you complete.
Yeah, and when it becomes a realistic goal as well, that part that you just said is that completing it, you want to break it down to as smaller parts as you can so you can actually enjoy a little bit of a win every now and then. Because if you keep on, I've fallen into this trap so many times. I've set goals so big that I probably could achieve them given the right amount of time, but I haven't taken the time to break them down into their components and enjoy the wins along the way. So I kind of get demotivated. So your goal can be very grand in nature, but if it is grand, assign the realistic timeline to it and then break it down so you actually do get a win, like at least once a month or so. So you can break it down. So once a month, you're actually celebrating the fact that, yeah, fuck, I'm not at my goal yet, but I've done this towards it. And then that way you're going to feel motivated to carry on.
Yeah, definitely. It's you know, we love big grandiose goals. We love that sort of stuff.
We've
But
got a few.
breaking it, yeah, we've got a few, but
Mm.
breaking it down into smaller sections is really important.
Yeah.
It's having this, it's like the top of a pyramid. Yeah? You have this thing that you want to reach, but it takes all these blocks underneath to complete to be able to get there. So have a big grandiose goal, but have checkpoints. Like in a
Yeah.
game, have checkpoints. So I've got to get to this bit. I've got to do this side quest before to help me get to the main quest easier.
Yeah, that's a good analogy because it can sometimes be the boring shit, like going around collecting a load of items. Or if you want to use a business terminology, it can be sorting out the finances, getting the business registered, setting up a business account. The shit that you don't want to really do, but it's got to be done before you can launch. Like all of this stuff has to be done. And you may as well celebrate it. You may as well have it on a checklist. And once that is ticked off, celebrate that fact because you've fucking done it. You've taken that next step.
Yes, definitely. So the point number 3 is to find intrinsic motivation. So with intrinsic motivation, it's more about stop using external factors to get you motivated. Stop using like I'm bad for it. I use David Goggins all the time to get me motivated. I use other people's stuff to get me motivated all the time. However, you need to find stuff within yourself that gets you motivated. What is it that you actually enjoy? Are you doing this just because everybody else is doing it? Are you doing it because are you getting a six pack just because you think that you need to get a six pack because everybody else gets a six pack? When actually, what you want to be is deadlifting 400 kilos. Well, then do that instead. You know, it's find the thing that you really enjoy first, and then progress towards that, rather than just using external factors to get you motivated.
Yeah, so when we've talked about the RDA system, we've got the results, which is the goals, which we've just talked about, setting realistic goals. But the intrinsic motivation is another word for the drivers. What is actually driving those goals? What do you actually want to achieve and get out of this? And the more you can identify that with an emotion that you feel intrinsically inside yourself, the deeper that emotion runs, the more you can connect to it, the more likely you are to want to achieve that thing. Because at the end of the day, if your driver is fine, if your intrinsic motivation to get that thing is so connected to it, the outcome can sometimes be different. Like you were saying with the deadlift technique and the six pack, it's not always the same thing. For example, if you're telling yourself you want a six pack because it's going to represent strength to you, and then you try deadlifting more than you've ever deadlifted and you can't because you're weaker, then that's not going to tie in together. So the intrinsic motivation, the drivers, make sure they're aligned with your goals and just really connect to it on a deep level. And that way, if you are progressing in line with your intrinsic motivation, you're going to be satisfied regardless.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on then to point 4, and point 4 is to set up accountability and support systems. Now this is really important, because when you're trying to do, I know you can be bad for this, Jack, in trying to be a bit of a lone wolf.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And that's okay. If you've got that in you, then that's fine. However, there comes a point in everybody when you're doing something, especially for a long period of time, where you just feel like it's time to stop now. I've had enough. And your own motivation and discipline might not be enough anymore. So having an accountability system there of people around you will help. They will be the ones to pull you out of that hole when you can't do it yourself. Yeah, they'll be the ones that be able to go, no, you're not stopping. You've got this far already. You just need to keep going. And that could be in the form of a workout buddy. Or you could be part of a group, or you could join our Facebook group, for instance, where we can help keep you accountable.
Yeah. And you can get coaches as well, like the stuff we do. Anything where you've
Mm-hmm.
got to, if you can outsource your accountability a little bit, that's going to take the strain off of you a bit, and it will help. At the end of the day, you're always accountable to yourself, but outsourcing a bit is fine. It's funny, I got another memory that popped up. So, as well as a 100-day challenge from 10 years ago, a year ago today, I'd done a post that said, a lot of people think failing is the default setting because it takes work to succeed, but simple systems and consistency make success the default result. You just need to know what you're aiming for. And that kind of goes in line with the last 3 points. So, yeah, I think once you've got these systems and you're consistent with them and you have that in place, then just trawling through life and feeling like you're failing, that is no longer the default because you're working towards a better future. So, yeah, all of that sort of shit. It all works.
Yep. Definitely. So, moving on to point number 5. Point number 5 is to embrace variety and new challenges. Sometimes, and I've seen this a few times with people in a gym. I used to work in a commercial gym, and there used to be these same guys that come in every single time. They come in like 5 days a week, but they do the exact same workout every time they came in, did the exact same thing. And all you would witness over years of working there is them get less and less fit and in worse and worse shape.
Mm-hmm.
Because they wouldn't try anything new. And sometimes it's important to try a new style of training or to give yourself a new challenge like the Welsh 3000s, because what that does is it pushes you out of your comfort zone and it makes you improve. Especially trying a new style of training every now and again, you find new weaknesses and then you fix them up.
Yeah.
And then you become overall stronger.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's pushed our evolution since the beginning of time. There's a principle we use for it in training. It's called the SAID principle. It's specific adaptation for imposed demand. And the key word of this is adaptation, because if you're just doing the same workout over and over again with the same weights, you're not changing anything up, then you're going to be adapted to that straight away. There is no longer a specific adaptation. You're just adapted to that thing you're doing. There is not really any imposed demand anymore because it's all stuff you are used to. So I would say it's worth doing anything for like 4 to 8 weeks just to make sure you're getting the most out of it. But then you want to change it up. Then you want to introduce a new variable. And then again, that SAID principle, that specific adaptation to impose demand, that will then kick up to the next gear because you're introducing a new variable to it.
And there's some people here may turn around and go, well, what you on about? There's people that do like the same style of training their whole career of gym and they've done really, really well. Like people who do powerlifting forever or do bodybuilding forever. And that's true that you can do. But what these people have done to progress so well throughout all these years is that they've kept challenging themselves regularly. They've pushed up, they've slowly progressed over time, and they've upped the weights or they've upped the reps, whatever it is they've done, and improved dramatically over a 10-20 year period. But they constantly challenging themselves. That's the main thing, is you're constantly pushing yourself.
It's worth bearing in mind that whenever you're seeing an athlete perform, you're seeing them perform in their peak season, but they have other seasons of their training when they're doing either a deload or they're working on their weaknesses or they're doing like postseason, preseason, all these different things. So although you see them doing on social media as the powerlifting, they actually go through many different types of training to assist that. Although powerlifting, lifting the heavier weight is always the ultimate goal, they have to go through the other things to make sure their weaknesses catch up and to make sure they recover as well.
Yeah, definitely. So point number 6, and this is a really important one. If you're trying to do something for a long period of time and you feel like you're plateauing and you're really struggling, then it's making sure, one, that you're tracking as much as you can, because there might be something you're missing out and you don't realize. Yeah, so tracking everything. And the second bit is to celebrate the small wins over time. That's one reason we track, is because last week I only benched 60 kilos for 5 reps, but this week I've done it for 6. That is progress. That is a small win, and celebrate all of those because they keep you motivated. They keep you moving forwards.
Yeah, definitely, and nothing that has ever been so apparent as what happened earlier on this week when we were coaching one of the groups that come in, and they've been training hard for, was it 3 months now? 2, I'm not sure how many months they've been training, and today was their first. Sorry, the other day was their first 3-rep max, and they were loving every second of it. Man, they were looking how far they could progress, how far they've pushed themselves. They've done 3 reps before, but this was like a legitimate 3-rep max test. And they were celebrating, and they've celebrated every small win along the way, and now they're celebrating the big win that they've just achieved as well. They wouldn't know how to do it if they weren't tracking their weights properly. That's the crux here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so make sure you're tracking everything and make sure you celebrate those small wins. And the last point here is that no matter what, and we've said this multiple times before, when it's to do with stress or just your training or whatever, setbacks will come, whether we like it or not. Something will happen at some point. And that's okay. You have to accept that. If a setback happens, analyze it. Okay, why did it happen? Great, fine, that's okay. And then keep moving forwards. If it knocks you back a little bit, that's fine. Keep moving forwards. Progress is never a straight line. It's never linear. There's always dull periods, and then you start progressing again, dull periods, and you progress again. You need to make sure that you are ready for the setbacks because they're going to come.
Yeah, they really will. I think it was Mike Tyson said everyone's got a plan until he gets punched in the face, and that is so true. Like, you are going to get hit at some point, and you just need to know how to get back up, because you will fall. It's not failure unless you decide to quit. That's the real thing. Like, everything you think of a failure, just think of it as a lesson instead. Think of it as a lesson of what not to do or how to change something. Again, another quote is from Einstein. I think it was Einstein. Let's just say Winston Churchill, because everyone can quote Winston Churchill and say a quote came from him. But it's the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Learn from your failures, learn from your setbacks, and learn how to adapt from them. And then if you learn how to adapt, you're never failing. You're failing forward, if you like. You're failing in the right direction. You're failing in a direction where you can improve each time. So it's mindset when it comes to something like that. It's just understanding your mindset, like you said, Josh, building resilience and knowing that if you carry on adjusting, adapting, and pushing forward, you will win.
Yeah, exactly that. So guys, we're episode 50, where our goal is to fucking send this into the stratosphere, and we have hit challenges and we've overcome setbacks. The first bloody 10 fucking episodes we recorded all went bust, and we had to record again. So we almost didn't even get started again. So we've overcome a lot of setbacks, technology setbacks, time setbacks, illness, everything, and we're plowing forwards because we follow these rules, and we know that if you follow them too, you're gonna progress.
Yeah, 50 episodes in, we're going to make it to 1,000 episodes. So you might see when you look at the episode numbers. When you look at the episode numbers, from the very first episode, I set the standard quite big. I done #0001 for one episode. Actually 0000 because we've done episode 0. But I done that because I know full well we're going to make it to episode 1,000 at some point, and it's just going to pick up. I didn't want to do #01 and only think, oh, we're going to make it to 99. I knew that we're going to get that far. So just have your goals, push forward, apply these principles to them, and let's just see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely. Here's to 50 more, or 1,000, or 950 more.
950 more. We'll get there. We're going to get to 100 first. That'll be in another 25 weeks' time, the rate we're putting these out at the moment. So, yeah, in 25 weeks, we'll be nearly at the end of the year by then. So let's see how we're getting on. It's going to be amazing. I know we will be at the end of the year.
And what that means, yeah. And what that means, Jack, is we get 50 more of my very famous jokes.
Amazing. Why don't you lay one up right now for me?
What do you get when you cross a dick with a potato?
I don't know.
A dictator.
Oh, for fuck's sake. If they want to find us after that, Josh, where can they find us?
To be honest, I can't remember, so I've got to find all the fucking socials now. 2 seconds. So they can find us on Instagram and TikTok at RDA Strength System. They can find us on Twitter at some fucking thing. They can find us on Twitter at The RDA System. They can find us on Facebook at The RDA Strength System. And they can find you at Jack from the Lifting Lounge, me at Josh from the Lifting Lounge.
Awesome. Our Facebook group is
find our website.
And find a website, yeah, which is either www.theliftinglounge.com or www.therdsystem.com. Either of those will take you there. Facebook group is still called The Lifting Lounge for now, but that will change, so keep your ears open for when we announce the change of name for that. And if you're already in the group, you'll see it happen, so don't be afraid. Guys, as always, we are very happy to have you listen to us and listen for all of the garbage and the value that we talk about. But we would love you, please, to like and share and leave us a 5-star review on whatever platform you listen to, because it helps us more than you could ever possibly realize. And plus, it feeds our egos a little bit. And, you know, we're not self-assured enough, so just feed our egos even more. But no, it does help us push out the ratings, and it helps the platforms themselves will share it to a wider audience if you leave us these reviews and ratings. So please do that. We look forward to seeing you next time. And yeah, if you've just listened to this, you might be able to now watch it happen on YouTube. Maybe see you there. Maybe. Until next time. Yeah, you get to see all these things that happen on screen that, like, you actually don't. You hear us alluding to them. But yeah, it'll be good fun. Josh just stuck his fingers up for those who are curious what it is, but he might have done something else as well. Josh, put it away. Right. Okay, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. We will speak to you soon. You're a weirdo.